everybody, and welcome to Reviews from Hell. I am your host, AJ, and as always, I am joined by my co host, Steve.
Howdy.
And today we're going to be looking at the new time rest film, Pearl, starring Mia Goth, which is, of course, an extraordinary origin story from the previous film they worked together called X. And this is all what takes place before Mia Goth became Pearl in X. So of course it's going to be a little bit different, and it's going to be maybe a lot different than X, and we'll get into that. So
different.
We did see this yesterday, even though we went to go see it at different show times yesterday. We finally got to see it. And Steve, what did you think of it?
I was pretty blown away. I'm in love with this whole world. I thought X was, I kind of knew going into it just from the trailer that it was going to, X was brilliant as well, but it was completely different on purpose. And so I could see I could already see some people like being like, oh, this sucks, whatever. But I think it will be more polarizing because some people, it's just a lot different type of a film. I will say that the three things that I came away from it were, I heard other people say Wizard of Oz, and I thought it had Wizard of Oz and Lucky McGee's May. If anybody remembers May with Angela Bettis, I thought it had a lot of.
I don't know if I remember May or even seeing May to begin with.
Brilliant film. Lucky McGee is a brilliant filmmaker. He also made The Woman, the Jack Ketchum adaptation. He made All Cheerleaders Must Die. Anyway,
okay, yeah, I know. Yeah.
May was his first film, and it had a young Angela Bettis and Jeremy Sisto that's gone on to do like Law and Order, and he was in Clueless, a bunch of other things. Yeah. And it is basically kind of a modern, kind of misanthropic Frankenstein story. You got to see it. It's a classic indie horror from the early aughts. It came out when I was probably 17 or 18. It's like 0203. It was a big high school movie for me. But anyway, so but I felt that I wondered, I haven't really heard anybody else say May, but I'd like to ask Zach Greger if I ever get the chance to talk to him, if he was a fan of that movie, because I felt that structurally in the beats that this hit and the journey that both May.
Well, you meant Time Rest instead of Zach Greger because we were.
I'm sorry, Zach Greger. I want to ask you a different question. Ty West, I want to ask you that question. I've got several for Zach Greger too, so forgive me. But yeah, so Wizard of Oz and meets May mixed with high camp, such as Mommy Dearest or Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I kept thinking that John Waters would love this movie, just if he had a chance to see it. Yeah, just felt like he'd be a fan.
And we already know that Martin Scorsese is a huge fan of this as well.
How awesome is that for Ty West to have Scorsese being like, yeah.
And I think Scorsese really loves the way A24 puts films out too, because he did that whole booklet. He did that whole booklet for Midsummer.
Was it Midsummer? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I have that. It's really nice. Yeah, he's great. He is a champion. It's why, not to get into the weeds here, but fuck it, I don't care. He's correct. Not that I don't like some of what the MCU does, but he was correct in his assessment of the MCU. And also, anybody that tries to slag Martin Scorsese because they're Marvel fanboys can kind of fuck off from me, because the amount of stuff he just does for cinema and the love he has and the knowledge he has for cinema, I just think it's really disrespectful to slag him or his work because he doesn't like comic book movies or, specifically the MCU. Yeah. So anyway, moving on, just a side note. But anyway, that's awesome that Martin Scorsese took the time to even let it be known that, hey, go see Ty West film. It's brilliant and disturbing, because of that, my mom, who doesn't really like horror, she's a Agatha Christie, James Bond kind of gal, but does not really care for straight horror very much. When I said we're going to see Pearl, she said, I heard it was disturbing yet really good. And I know she heard that because Martin Scorsese said that. So it gets into the mainstream that way, in a way it probably wouldn't. And I also, just speaking of the fact that in today's age, all you hear is, I don't think it's true. I think there's problems with Hollywood. I think that there are questions about streaming and where everything is going to go and content-wise. I do think that it's crazy when people say there's no original movies being made. Ty West it's hard as hell to get any movie made, but Ty West has turned a trilogy out of this, out of X, and I think it's really fucking awesome.
And he could do a lot more if he really wanted to. With
yeah, you know, you only want to go back to the well so many times. Like Vince Gilligan, for instance, has said, you know, I'm done with this world, because you just, after a while, you don't want to fuck up gold. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, but I get what you're saying. It is a whole fucking
I
world.
think Scott Mescudet's character would be really great in a
he's such a good actor. Like, I've heard some of his music and I always thought it was good. Not a super fan of Kid Cudi or anything, but I always thought he was a great rapper.
But he chooses
great actor.
Interesting movies to act in, and I think that's a huge part of why.
Have you seen him in something else? Have you seen him in something else?
I have not. He was in Don't Look Up.
I saw Don't Look Up. What am I forgetting?
You know that cameo with Ariana Grande in there? That was him.
Oh man, I didn't even realize it. Awesome though. Sorry about that. Yeah, I missed that one.
And
yeah, I totally.
Bill and Ted's Fight the Music.
Oh, the new one? I haven't even seen it yet. I was just saying that the other day. I said, you know, I didn't even watch that Bill and Ted movie. I think it's in one of the many subscriptions that I pay for now, so I have no excuse. Other than there's a bazillion things to watch, and I'm one man with so many hours, and I work full time.
Right.
And then there's things I want to write about and podcast about. So sometimes, like, stuff that I would watch just for fun that has no other purpose, like Bill and Ted, I would have to make myself be like, write an article about Bill and Ted. You know what I mean? Then you'll watch it. But no, I need to watch it. It's cool. And I like Samara Weaving, and I think she's in it as one of the kids. So yeah, a lot of reasons to watch. I actually was a much bigger Bogus Journey fan though than I was Excellent Adventure. Bogus, because I think that's my age.
And Kid Cudi said the same thing in an interview he did. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with him. I think it's my age. That's the one I remember more. My brother is 5 years older than me, and he is a big fan of the first one, and he didn't even like the second one. So I always thought, and the second one had more of a horror-centric, weirder, almost it went along with kind of Tim Burton-y stuff, you know, that was coming out at the time.
And there was a lot of slapstick moments in there too.
Death, how about Death playing the whole battleship? Everyone remembers that's seen that movie.
And that's kind of my Fear the Reaper, yeah.
Oh yeah, everybody loves that movie that I could never really get into, The Princess Bride. And but you know that scene where they play the game or whatever? To me, my version of that is chess Battleship with Death.
Right.
Bogus Journey. Anyway, back off the rails. Let's try to pull this train back to. We went off the rails in about 10 seconds, thanks to me. You're welcome, listeners. But no, so Pearl, differences with X, right? So X is exploitation, love letter to the era. It's a movie that's about filmmaking. When you think of movies like about filmmaking, I always am a sucker for those, like One Cut of the Dead. Yeah, stuff like that, you know. And
I'm really looking forward to watching Reboot on Hulu as well.
Exactly. That's the new show from the Modern Family guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I loved Modern Family. That's something that we used to actually all watch together when it first came out. Like my parents.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, and they actually.
I even got a VPN so I can log on Netflix, a UK site, and watch Modern Family.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We need it in the States, man, because
I think now it's all on Hulu. I think.
No, it is. You're right. It is. Totally is. I need to watch the later seasons. My parents watched it weekly till the end. But I did not. But I knew that they did. They would tell me. We always talk about what we're watching.
Yeah, I think when Adam Devine came on it is when my mom kind of jumped off.
Adam Devine from Workaholics?
Yeah.
I didn't even know. See, I didn't even know that. Is he like the Scrappy Doo of Modern Family then? You know what I mean? Like, we got to bring something in to shake it up. Like when they got the Brady Bunch of dog and various cousins would appear and then just disappear like they were abducted. Never to be mentioned again. I like Adam Devine. I never saw. That's the first I knew of that man. I had no idea. Yeah, very cool though. But yeah, lots of shows. Like I think DiCaprio was on Growing Pains in later years when he was a kid.
He may have been. Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't like an original. I don't think he was in the original cast. I think it was one of those. He's a young, cute boy. Bring him in here. The ratings are falling. Yeah. But
like Brad Pitt on 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, and those things that never works. People never fall for that. And it doesn't seem like shows have even realized that now necessarily, you know, and it never works. It's like whether jumping the shark. Once you jump the shark, it's hard to pull it back. You know, it's really hard to go. It's hard to close. You can't close that box once you've opened it up. So yeah. Let's see. But thinking of Pearl as opposed to X, which is just a fun thing to do. It's like he got to he's getting to play with different filmmaking styles and techniques. In X, where everything is gritty and realistic and it's about the filmmaking process itself, this is about dreamers. This is about how movies affect people. This is about the fantasy world that film can create. Everything looks like Oz. There's so many different visual. When she's riding the bike, she's just like the Wicked Witch at the beginning.
Right.
Those are the reddest reds I've ever seen. Like the doors, the barn,
Technicolor was amazing.
the dresses, the lipstick, the blood. It is the reddest I've ever seen. Some of the reddest. It was as red as anything Argento ever did. It may be more. It is just like, think of the reddest lipstick that would draw your eye and go, wow, that is red lipstick, and you've got it. And turn that up to 11. It is a red. And so yeah, this is and Pearl is a character. Oh my God, I listened to a lot of podcasts about serial killers in the last podcast on the left and things when you hear about these kind of people that just all serial killers seem to have this thing where they're like, I'm great. I'm destined
really narcissistic, really egotistic.
Yeah, and dreams and spends your whole life dreaming. And you think that if you could just get that one break, that one right person to see you, but meanwhile, you're not doing any real work, because when you actually see her dance, she's nothing really talented. You see her dance. You see,
it's almost like it's coming from a hee-haw in a way.
It's very bad. It's just bad, and it's definitely nothing special. And I think that is how a lot of people fall victim to Hollywood bullshit, especially, and that movie could apply to now with the way we all act on social media and the way everyone thinks that they are some kind of a celebrity or they're some kind of journalist.
Kind of like how these influencers are.
That's the next word out of my mouth was thank you. These influencers. I feel like that even though, and I think that's important that it took place in 1918, seemingly it's totally removed from this era, but you've got the Spanish flu going on.
Right, and I was about to bring that up.
Yeah. You've got this young girl, celebrity obsessed, who's just, and you've got a mother that, the way it's designed, they definitely want you to kind of hate the mother on a surface level. But when you actually think about it, immediately I was like, she's right about everything here. And it just grows from there. And I think if I saw this movie when I was younger and more misanthropic than I am now, I would have totally been like, yeah, fuck them all, Pearl, this time. But now, older, I was totally mortified by her, and I was screaming at everyone to just back the fuck up and get away from her. You know what I mean? I kept being like, no, just go. Just don't say anything else to her. Don't continue the conversation. Just leave. I was like, you just get away from her. So, yeah, it was scary. The whole disturbing thing that Scorsese said, it is disturbing, and it does linger in a way that X doesn't disturb. X is very visceral. Right. And even though X has this whole component about sex that's very much, it kind of pokes an eye at how Hollywood and us as a society feel about sex and talk about sex or don't talk about sex or sexuality that we don't like old people fucking. People don't want to talk about that and just pretend that old people don't still have these desires. And so, but still, it's way more visceral than this. I think that this has a much more disturbing kind of Norman Bates. Like you said, Psycho. You were the one that said Psycho to me, Wizard of Oz Psycho. You're like today's Psycho. And I thought about that. And as a character, there's a lot of Norman Bates in there. The mother, obviously, mother's on to me. And I live in this. So, yeah, there's definitely a love letter. These are all also, it seems like, because then the teaser is the MaXXXine teaser that looks totally different. It's about the 80s, about Hollywood itself. All these movies are about film.
And there was the Jodie Foster film that this reminded me a lot of, like the girl living on the lane or whatever it was.
Oh, the little girl that lived down the lane.
Yes.
I haven't seen it. I think I watched it one night on a Joe Bob, but it was one of those nights when you're drinking a lot of beers or whatever.
And you're kind of ravey and you're just like...
Well, the problem with Joe Bob watching movies for a first watch with Joe Bob is with me, I end up being guilty of sometimes, if it's not a movie I'm really into, or even if it is sometimes.
You just want to watch it for the Joe Bob.
I'll watch Joe Bob and I'll end up scrolling through my phone and my Twitter feed, looking at everybody's live tweets and not watching the damn movie as closely as I should. And that's on me. But that's definitely what happened that night. And you throw in a few beers or a little weed with that, and it's just like, what movie did we watch last night?
Right.
Yeah, so I need it. But that's a movie that I do see on Shudder, and David Lynch has made references to the little girl.
To watch it, yeah.
Yeah, so he's made references to that movie too. So David Lynch is my favorite.
And Jodie Foster's character in that and Pearl are very similar to how
Really?
they. Yeah.
Really? So I didn't even know what Little Girl Down the Lane was about. Like I wasn't even sure what it was
It's
about.
not necessarily like similar to Pearl, but the behavior is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I will watch it. I will watch that. Yeah, we were talking about trying to do some older stuff too, potentially keep that in the bag. But yeah, I do need to watch that. I will. It's on Shudder. But no, also, in this movie, I was trying to think of other performances as well. Like the mom is really great. I didn't really recognize any of the supporting cast, to be honest. I didn't know these people. I thought they were all really good, but I didn't know if you knew.
Like the guy that she was sleeping with seemed vaguely familiar to me.
The projectionist.
Yeah, but I couldn't really place a name or a title where I knew him from, but he did kind of look familiar to me.
And I did see where when you go into, it was written by both Mia and Ty, which it's just when you think of that.
And level, I don't know if you saw this, but Kid Cudi was also a producer on this as well.
I did see that as well. Yeah, he was on one of the producers, and so you just got this whole kind of creative train rolling here, and we're going to get one more. We're going to get MaXXXine, and I just think it's awesome to be, like I said, in this time where I feel like we're kind of flooded with a lot of, there's a lot of shit out there, but there's also a lot of good stuff being made. I mean, I don't know where, and it's really cool to get to see these movies as big as they are in a theater. You know what I mean? Like, it was just really different. Like, I appreciate
Hollywood. Okay. That's where I know him from. That Ryan Murphy Netflix series.
Which one?
Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. I've only seen the trailer of that. Yeah. I know what you're talking about, though. Is that good?
Yeah, it was good. It was one of the better Ryan Murphy things out there.
Well, I know you don't want
to see Ryan Murphy, to me, has kind of jumped the shark on what he does.
It just depends on what it is, man. I'm really looking forward to the Jeffrey Dahmer series, but when I watch like American Horror Stories, it's just a train wreck and it's bad. It just depends on what it is. Like you're right about a lot of it. Like I would say that I suffered through, what is that show? Ratchet. I suffered through every episode. I thought it was terrible. I didn't even
bother with that.
So campy, but not in a good way. I thought it was unintentional. I don't know. It was definitely trying to hit some kind of a mark, but to me, the idea from the get-go was ridiculously stupid.
And then he also directed a Netflix movie with like Nicole Kidman and James Corbin in it.
I haven't ever watched it. I can't stand James Corbin. It looks so cheesy. That looks terrible. Is that about the prom? Oh, yeah, fuck that. I have no desire to see that. Here's the thing. That's not.
I'd rather get on acid and watch Cats.
Oh, any day of the week. I'd rather watch Cats straight. It might make me feel so crazy. I'm on fucking acid. But no, I would never watch that in a million years. But when it comes to I thought the first 2 seasons of American Crime Story were really good. I had no desire to see Sarah Paulson in a fat suit, so I skipped the Monica Lewinsky one. But the one with Cuba Gooding Jr. and then the one about the Versace assassination, those were great. It's some of the best television. That's up there with some of the better television I've seen in the past decade. I'll give him credit. I've never seen Nip Tuck, but the first couple, when he's good, he's great. He's either great or he's ridiculously eye-rollingly bad. I have no desire to see a lot of his shows either. And a lot of them aren't made for me. So, you know what I mean? I don't care about a lot of them. I'm not the target audience. But I am really looking forward to Dahmer. It looks great. I love Evan Peters. It's exactly made for me. So sometimes, like I said, when Ryan Murphy makes something for me, I'm like, it's like anything else I love. But it's become less and less as time goes on. I used to make a point to watch everything he did, and it's fallen off dramatically in the past 5 years, I'd say, especially the past few. It just keeps getting more. Like you keep naming stuff he's done that I'm like, oh, I didn't even consider watching that. Like I was like, okay.
But back to the guy from Hollywood, he did a fantastic job as the projectionist.
Oh yeah, that was a good role. And there's just a lot of people in this movie like that. And the blonde girl that is her sister-in-law. Her husband's off in World War I. And the projectionist, you just feel doomed. You feel bad for all these people. Because if you've seen more than one movie, you know how all these people are going to die. Even if you haven't seen X and you've seen more than one movie besides Pearl, you probably will realize that all of these people are doomed just for being in her orbit. And I think that Mia Goth pulls it off because there's never a moment that I don't empathize with Pearl. As crazy as Pearl is, as scared of Pearl as I am personally as a character, I do. And I don't think you have to find everybody like.
That's kind of like a Fargo effect that you have with her in this as well.
Yeah. No, I love everybody in Fargo. They're awful. That's still the character. Totally engaging and empathetic. It doesn't matter how bad it's that's a good trick. Rob Zombie, whether people say what they want to about Rob Zombie, but Rob Zombie pulled that off with The Devil's Rejects. You start that movie seeing them commit a rape, like murder, group murder situation. Not a rape, but they do sexually assault people, and then they fucking murder them horrifically, and then you proceed after that to root for them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But then after that, you root for them because of the way it's written and the way that the characters are engaging. And you just want to, like Natural Born Killers, you don't root for the cops. You root for Mickey and Mallory. And that's us. That points to something in us as an audience. But Pearl is so well done. It's well written. And I think it shows that she, this is obviously a joint creative endeavor. So I think that Mia Goth deserves all the praise. A lot of it for on the page and on the screen as well. And it comes through. She has a monologue in this that's as good as anything I've seen recently. It's one of those other performances that should be recognized by the Academy, but there's no way in hell that she would get a nomination for this. And that's just the Academy. That's just the way they are. Even though it is one of the best performances I've seen this year. And this creative team made two of the best movies that came out this year that were entertaining. And I think X made good money. This had some stiff competition. I think The Woman King kind of was going to win. I saw the movies that were coming out this weekend, and I was like, if Pearl gets second place, it'll be a good weekend. And it did. But they've made, the X going to make its money back, and X made money. So, I think it's really cool. I keep going back to that point, but it's just really cool to get to see original films make money and have, Mia Goth is in my opinion, an A-list celebrity. One of the most interesting.
She's becoming that way, yeah.
Yes, she's always been somebody that when I hear her name in a movie, I've always liked her. I love her and Shia as a couple, and they have like a 6-month-old kid now, and so it's like happy times for them.
Mia's dating Shia?
They're back together and they're married, and they have like a 6-month-old kid.
Oh, so that's what Shia was talking about on John Burknow's podcast.
Talking about him and Mia. Yeah, he's a dad and he's doing well. I want to see Padre.
Yeah, he broke down talking about Mia being there. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually watched that, and I watched the one he did with the priest. It was like on the Catholic Network. He did those two around the same time, and no, he's doing better. And he was in the Abel Ferrara movie. I want to see whenever I get a chance to check it out.
And he's casting it in Francis Ford Coppola's new film as well.
Isn't he also in Christopher Nolan's as well, in Oppenheimer? I think he joined the Oppenheimer cast as well.
Oh, really? So good for him. Good for him.
So he's got two. So he just Abel Ferrara, Christopher Nolan, Francis Ford Coppola, three of the greatest living filmmaker artists of all time. Maybe the studios won't take a chance on him right now, but when some of the greatest living artists do, it's just all going to be part of his redemption story if he stays on track. He's just got to keep plugging away.
And that's the thing, if he stays on track, because we all know
recovery too. You got to stay. It's an every day.
We all know it's one day at a time, and that's the huge thing.
It's a slippery slope. So I'm here for him, and it's just like I wouldn't want people to hold me down for like the worst moments of my life as an addict. Like I believe in second chances. I believe in 25th chances because what else are we going to do? What are we going to do? Drag somebody out back and shoot him? I mean, he didn't kill, it's like punishment has to fit the crime. Like, what are you going to do? We're going to live in a society where we just start killing people. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just, when people refuse to give somebody like another chance, but at the same time, I understand, like, we all have the power. That's the thing. We all have the power today to kind of go where we want our dollar to go. And you have much of a right to not support him or to focus on abuse. And I'm all for supportive abuse to women. And I know, obviously, I think he's owning up to some things and saying that he made some mistakes, and good for him.
That's a huge difference between him and a lot of people that have went down this road before. He's owning up to it.
Absolutely. You see him, and he's trying to do the work and trying to get help, and he's doing it publicly. He's doing it publicly. And some people can say that's cynical, and that's fine. And what I have to say to that is, like, time will tell. We'll all know, trust me, if he's being cynical and this isn't for real. Yeah, but I think it is. And I think he's, like I said, he's a new father. He's a new husband. He and Mia work things out. And as far as I know, they're happy, and he's being a dad. So cheers. But no, she's doing all this great work this year. And so I love seeing the new Goodnight Speed. Like I love seeing like kind of A-list names do horror and do indie horror and things like that. Like you get, even though I didn't think it was great, like Naomi Watts coming back and doing the Goodnight Mommy remake, like she's fine in it, but it's if you've seen the original, it's uninspired. Like, you know, go watch the original. But just seeing like Mia Goth, someone of that kind of stature, do this, you know, it's great for her. Like, she's brilliant in it. That monologue, like I said, my God, it's powerful. And the camera, Ty West just puts her, it's just like old Hollywood. It's her. No move, can't, nothing. Just letting her talk. And it just goes. And it's brilliant. It's so powerful. And it's real. She had to have written that herself.
Oh, yeah. So, final thoughts on Pearl. I think I would give it probably about a 4.5 or a 5, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I would say it's like we said, it's like Wizard of Oz, Psycho. It's got May in there and like Mommy Dearest. I would definitely give it I would go a little bit lower. I would say like 4, solid 4 for me. I like X slightly better, but that's also just preference.
Of course, yeah.
It's also preference in style, but I do think X is a little bit better of a movie. But she's amazing in this, so go see it as soon as you can.
And now we know MaXXXine is getting ready to start filming, right?
Yeah, we don't have any footage yet. You get that fun teaser, but there's no actual footage. Yeah.
It's been announced that it's greenlit. Now, what would you like to see them try to accomplish with MaXXXine? Because it has to be set in the 80s, right? Or
1985, I think.
1985, okay.
And I think the idea is that her dreams have come true, and she did kind of become a star in the. I want to see MaXXXine and what happened when she actually, because we see Pearl wanted her dreams, and we saw it happen when they didn't work out. I want to see a movie about the horrors of what happens when your dream works out and it's not what you thought it would be, like, say, conquering the porno world in the 80s.
Along like a Tracy Lords kind of
story, a movie that echoes Boogie Nights in style. And I don't know what the horror element would be, but it can be anything on that front. I just want to see what he's got for me. I want to see what other nightmares they're going to cook up.
And you know what I would like to see are like people portraying real porn stars around that era. Like, get somebody acting like Honey Wilder or Kay Parker and Pete Holmes.
Yes.
Or somebody like Tracy Lords or Ginger Lynn, and get people portraying those actors in here.
Boogie Nights did that. I think Wonderland definitely did that. You had the John Holmes stuff. So I do think that, and you know, like Once Upon a Time in America, people really like looking at things about Hollywood history. I like historical fiction. So that would be really cool if you dropped her just into an environment that existed, or at least paralleled one in our world.
Right.
And just see MaXXXine in it, conquering it. And then I think that it's the song Obsession makes me think it's going to be about a stalker. So in style, what I would like to see is Dressed to Kill, like De Palma, or Body Double. Dressed to Kill meets what did I say before? Oh shit, Boogie Nights. That's what I want to see.
All right, so thank you for joining us, everybody. This has been Reviews from Hell on Infamous Horrors. Please feel free to check out any other shows on the channel. We have a ton.
Please do.
I believe this is our 9th episode of Reviews from Hell. So
almost got double digits.
Previous episodes on that.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.